Welcome to a new series where I show you how I transformed this ordinary footage of a street in Berlin, Germany into a futuristic cyberpunk scene. We'll walk through the entire process step by step, from analyzing the original plate and generating the sci-fi environment using ComfyUI to compositing and delivery to final color grading. As with all of my projects, the goal is to demonstrate how we can use AI in professional cinematic pipelines to achieve industry standard quality, all while maintaining total data privacy by running the entire pipeline locally on my own machine. Let's jump right into it.
No data centers have been used in the making of this video.
Hey, I'm Amir. I'm a VFX artist, animator, video editor based in Berlin. And this video is not going to be a tutorial. So I'm already assuming that if you watched this, you know how to use Nuke, how to use DaVinci Resolve, and how to use ComfyUI. I'm not going to explain how to install ComfyUI, how to use the node system, how to get models and all of that. What I'm more interested is to explore together with you how we can make things for the cinema with those tools. So let's take a look at the following footage. So as you can see here, this is a shot from the movie Coty Express. I have the rights to use this footage because I actually directed this film a few years ago. And I wanted to use a shot from a real situation, not to make up like a very easy case to show. I want to take a real footage from a real film that was shot with a professional film camera and see what we can do with it. So as you can see, the name of the actress, by the way, is Yoon Hwang. The DOP is Kira Fong, and I'm the director. We shot on the Alexa Mini at 4K and 24 FPS. And everything I'm going to do with this workflow is being done locally on my PC, which has the GPU RTX 5090 with 32 GB of VRAM. The CPU is AMD Ryzen 9 9950X. And I also have 128 GB of RAM. So as you can see, she's crossing the road here in a very famous place in Berlin, in Cottbusser Tor, and there is a lot of movement behind her. And the idea is to transform it to a sci-fi scene. So what I want to do is like to keep her, the character, but to remove the background and make it like a sci-fi cyberpunk inspired by Blade Runner and the video game Cyberpunk. So there is some camera movement. It's a handheld camera, and there are like people walking behind her, and there is a car, and there is a bike, and I don't want any of that. But I still want it to look like a street in Berlin, maybe in the far, far future, where everything is very sci-fi. And here is the same shot without the text, and I did like a very basic color correction just to convert the log to Rec 709 and a little bit of curving and a little bit of white balancing. If you're curious, the color tab is like that. So I have a lot, I have a curve, and I have a white balance. It's a very simple setup. One of the issues of working with AI is that the output is only 8-bit. So here is my question. If I can only get a very low-res HD 8-bit out of the AI, is it cinema ready? Because in this channel, I'm showcasing workflows with AI that's supposed to end up on the big screen. I'm not interested right now in doing like social media and Instagram videos. Okay, small screen, of course, you can do whatever you want. So because of that, because we can only work in 8-bit, I had to do this very basic color correction. If that was a real production, of course, I would talk with the color grader, and he would do this work for me before to prepare the shot. Because if we look again at the color tab, this is the log footage right here. We can see that the histogram is quite narrow here, and at the end it's a little bit more stretched. We have some more contrast, but still there is a lot of room to play with, right? Only here, the little peak here in the bright areas, this is actually the traffic light here, right? And here, those are very highlights. So one of the things to keep in mind is that the color grader will not have the information in the very highlights to crush them down in case they wanted to do something with it later. So for me as a VFX artist, I would talk with the colorist beforehand about all of that. About, okay, how we move the log footage, the 12-bit camera footage that comes from the ARRI Alexa into an 8-bit that is also usable later in color grading. So this is something very important to think about before we even start working with the footage. I already did a test before I'm making this video with another shot from the same movie. I did a very quick run just to test the tools to see if I can make it to a sci-fi scene. And as you can see, we're going to go through it later, some control information, and here is the result I got. And as you can see, the result looks nice, but as you can see, she changes a little bit in the middle. The body motion and expressions are nice, I like it. And here is like a dissolve between the plate and the AI reconstruction, which is very trippy. I really like this effect, but it's also very specific to what you want to do. But I don't know if you can see it in YouTube. If you zoom in and look at details, it has many artifacts. So as you can see here on the pillar, there is a lot of artifacts and the writing is not really clear, and also the shirt. It's not really what I would call cinema ready. You wouldn't want to go to watch a movie with a VFX scene and all of a sudden you see something like that. It looks cool maybe on your phone. I showed it to the actress on a little screen and she was really impressed. Wow, it looks so cool. It's like a sci-fi universe now. But I wouldn't say it's like production ready. So after making this little run, I came up with some ideas of how to make it a little bit better. So let me walk you through it. Okay, so one of the things that I really want to do to make the shot a little bit better is to start masking some elements in the shot that are going to break the AI. So now we are in Nuke, and a disclaimer, I'm using the non-commercial version of Nuke right now because this is like an educational video. I'm also kind of learning as I go how to do it. This is not a production pipeline, what I'm showing you. We made this film years ago and it's already finished and released. None of the things that I'm going to do with the footage is going to end up in the movie. And I'm not going to monetize the videos also on YouTube. This is purely educational. And also, if you are following along what I do and you don't have a subscription to Nuke and you're still learning Nuke, you can rest assured that what I'm doing is also going to work for you. So a few limitations of using Nuke in the non-commercial version is that, of course, I cannot use the footage later. Second, it's encrypted, so I cannot later move to a paid version of Nuke and copy everything that I did to the new version. It will not read it. And also, if you work in a team, you cannot really use non-commercial version because you cannot send over the files. It will not be read. But bigger limitation, if you still want to learn, is that you cannot output videos that are more than 180p. So you're stuck on like HD and below resolution. And also you cannot export H.264 formats. The AI models, they expect you to give them an H.264 file. Okay, so just keep it in mind. So first, let's look at the shot itself. This is directly from the camera. It's not the one I showed you that I color graded already in Resolve, because what I want to get out of Nuke right now, it's only the mask. I don't really need the footage itself. So if we look here at the metadata, you can see it's 12-bit. So the footage itself has a lot to give here. You see, I can really crush it and you can see all the details that we didn't have before that we are going to lose because we are going to work with ComfyUI, 24 FPS and 4K. If you're curious, here is all the rest of the metadata. Apple ProRes 444. And the shot itself is 333 frames. It's not a short shot. It's not 81 frames like a lot of tutorials that you will see online for ComfyUI. It's only 81 frames because the AI models really like 81 frames. No, I want to have a real life situation here. All those moving objects behind her, the bike here, there is a car here. I want to get rid of this. I want to get rid of the bike here because this is going to mess up the AI later. And you could make a mask also in ComfyUI. There are many models to do that. I tried it already. I found that this shot is very tricky for those AI models because there are so many elements of moving here. The bike behind the actress was very difficult for the AI model, for example, to cut out. So we need to do it manually. We need to start rotoscoping. There is no I never worked on a project that I didn't need to rotoscope something. There is always some rotoscope going in VFX. So AI is not, it could help, but we still need to do some things. So as you can see, I manually made all those roto shapes here, and it's very rough, but it's okay for what we need to do right now. Okay, so as you can see, it's not perfect. There are still moving things behind her that I didn't mask. I only masked the big objects that are very obvious, that from my test before broke the AI. I believe that this is enough for what I want to do. So I will keep it as is. One interesting thing to see here is that I did actually use some AI here inside of Nuke. Nuke has this category here with some tools that you can find online. So this is a depth generator. And I use the depth generator actually to cut away the actress. I try to do it with human segmentations and other kind of AI algorithms or models that the Foundry provides on their website, but it didn't work as well. And what I want is a very rough cut here of the actress. Because, for example, if you go back to here, as you can see, the roto shapes are on top of her. And I didn't want to make another mask on her because she's moving a lot and it looks like a headache just to make it. I just need something rough. So this is where this comes in. So if I remove it, you see just like cutting the actress here and also with the bike behind her. So, and it's doing quite a good job for what I want to do. Of course, this is not like a very good mask to use if you want to do things manually, but for what we are going to do today, this is enough. Also, you would tempted to use this AI model that the Foundry also provide in Qatari, which is Inpaint. So let's see what this does when we inject the mask into it. Oh, wow. So the first shot that we look at it, it looks kind of good. Like, okay, maybe I can start working with it, right? Because let's do before and after. You see, it really removed all those things. But let's zoom in and see. Like, it's a total mess. Like what is this triangle here? What is all this, like, mess? And also I want to show you that I already did some denoising here. So if I remove the denoise, there is some more details, but it's also like very muddy and weird and a lot of color noise added to it. The biggest issue actually is when you start running it. So let's try that. If you see, if I play it, it starts flickering and you see it's like a huge mush, you know? So it cannot really work as a clean plate, in my opinion. You cannot continue working with this as is. So what we are going to do now is to take the mask and to use this in ComfyUI to make a clean plate, to remove all those like background things from the shot. So this is the final mask pass. As you can see, I rendered it black, and the areas that I want to inpaint later with the AI are the white parts. And because this version of Nuke is limited, I export it as MOV and AvidDNX codec because I'm a dinosaur. I really like to edit on Avid, so I use this codec and not a very big one, only this like 8-bit, 145. This is enough for now. The next step now is going back to DaVinci Resolve and render it as an H.264. Okay, so back in DaVinci Resolve, again, this is the shot that I color graded roughly as if I was the color grader of the production, but I'm not because it's not a real production. And here is the mask from Nuke that I overlaid with the subtract operation here on top of the footage just to get an idea if how it looks. And for me, it looks quite good for a mask right now. Okay, this is something I can start working with in ComfyUI. So the next step will be to export the graded footage and the mask in the format that ComfyUI likes, which is MP4 H.264. Okay, so this is the MP4 mask. It looks okay. Of course it looks okay. Why wouldn't it? But I always like to check it, you know, so that looks okay. And this is the 8-bit footage after a basic color correction. So this is what we are going to start working with now. Okay, one thing that I noticed now that I watched the footage after rendering it on the big screen is that it's very, very grainy. It was dusk, the blue hour, and I think the cameraman really pushed in the ISO, which you shouldn't do on Alexa Mini. But it's very, very grainy, and I'm afraid that the grain is going to mess up the AI a little bit more. So what I'm going to do is to render another version with a quite heavy noise reduction. Let's do that. Okay, so this is the footage after noise reduction, and I'm quite happy with it. Yeah, I think it would be much easier for the AI to figure out what's going on. So the way I like to think about what we are doing right now is it's just like a rotoscope process, right? Rotoscope not in the sense of making a mask, rotoscope in the sense of painting on top of the image. So I don't care so much about the realistic, beautiful Alexa noise. I care about the information. I care about the camera movement. I care about some object in the street that I could use later in rotoscoping, in painting over with the AI and to make it as a sci-fi universe. And for that, reducing the noise very heavily, like I just did, I think it's actually better. I think it will make everything smoother. Okay, so here we are in ComfyUI, and credit where credit's due. This workflow is from a video I found published by The Foundry together with Alex Villabon. I hope I pronounced his name correctly. The video is called AI Accelerated Cleanup, and Alex shared with us this workflow. So I thought let's start with this one. So as you can see, it asks for a reference image and a video, and the video we already have. For the first frame, I go back to Nuke and I did this really quick rotoshape here. So I just remove the cyclist. It's the only thing that actually changes in the first frame here. When I run this workflow in ComfyUI, let's see the result here. So that's a very low res, just a test run, not to spend too much time, and we see many issues. The biggest one is the cyclist behind the actress. Let's see this again. Okay, so you can also see the car and another cyclist, but actually I found that when I changed the seeds, there are better seeds that remove the car and the second cyclist, but the main one behind the actress, that's really the problematic one. So I don't want to continue and up-res it and to spend a lot of working hours for nothing before I solve this problem. One of the issues with the cyclist, why it's happening, as you can see, like the shape, the rotor shape of the cyclist, it looks like a cyclist. So I think what's happening is like the AI thinks, okay, there is this shape, look something like something I know from the training, and then it try to copy something from the training data set that it was trained on, which is probably a cyclist or a motorcycle or something like that. Something with a two-wheel from a profile view. And this is why we get this very weird result here. So learning from this, next time I would try to do a really weird shape. So it will not look like anything, maybe like a sphere or something blobby. Not something that's very defined, like a car or a person or anything that I want to remove. But actually, I decided to do something a little bit more advanced than that. So let's go back to Nuke and let's see what I did here. I just decided to remove the cyclist because I tried a few runs in ComfyUI and all of them failed. So I decided, okay, let's jump into Nuke, let's brute force it, and let's do just a regular cleanup. Now that's a very dirty one, but you know, maybe the benefits of working with AI is that we can start doing things a little bit more dirty and get away with it. But as you can see, this is the moment where the bike is passing by behind her. So you can see like a ghostly thing there. So I just like, I frame hold a few frames and then I just like rotoshape and painted the thing. So we have this really rough cleanup here. It's still ghosty, there's still something happening over there, and I export it with the alpha channel back into DaVinci Resolve. I added the same color grading that I did before. I put it on the same spot on the timeline, and as you can see, it's much better than what we had before, this really weird thing in ComfyUI. You see this shape that is really, really weird. So let's try with this now. Okay, let's have a look at this one. It's the same seed, but the shape is still there. It looks a little bit better. I see that it removes the car a little bit better, but still we have the second cyclist. We still have the problem with the shape of the roto. So what I'm thinking I should do now is to remove that from the mask. So let's go back to Nuke. Okay, and here we just want to disable this one. Yeah, let's just remove the bike shape and render it as is. I'm not going to even change the name. It's going to update it automatically in DaVinci Resolve. I will not need to re-import it if the name stays the same. Yeah, it's not the most clean work ever, but it's only a demonstration. We learn as we go. Okay, so let's try to change the mask here to the new one. Here is my new mask. And let's run ComfyUI again, and let's hope it will work now. Okay, all right, let's see the result. Yeah, that looks clean. The bike is not there, the second bike is not there, and also the people behind her are not there. Okay, so I would call this actually a success. I didn't change the seed. It's the same messy seed we had before. And I think only to do this little thing of manually removing this huge object behind her that moved kind of fixed a lot of other issues also. So that's very interesting. This is also something to keep in mind, you know, that AI is not one click of a button and it's solved. Removing this bike behind her manually was kind of a pain. It's not the kind of thing that you expect to do now in the era of AI, but here is a proof. We need to do it. There is no way around it. If there is, maybe you can share it with me. But I think I'm ready to start dedicating some more time with my computer to render a better quality image. I will not go through all the information here, like which parameters to change and everything. Like I said before, this is not a tutorial. I assume you already know that. And also I would highly recommend you to go and check up the original video where this workflow came from. It's a fantastic video, and I will link it down below in the description. Okay, so here we are back in DaVinci Resolve. Let's look at the result. This is after the upscale also, and it looks not great, right? Like maybe if you watch it on your phone, it looks okay. But for example, the street sign, her face, especially when she's back, is really not good. And the entire image is kind of wobbly. Now I used this smaller model on ComfyUI. Potentially, I could have used the larger model, the 14 parameters one, but honestly, I didn't have time. And for the thing that we are going to do next, I don't feel like I really need to. First of all, we don't need the entire thing. We only need to cut out the objects that we already masked. And I use it here in Fusion tab. I just did this quick mask. I applied the black and white mask and I blurred it a little bit and I layered it over the original footage, graded, denoised that we did before. So first of all, it's much better because we have all the information from the original shot, like the character, the street sign, everything, but only the areas that we want to cut out are the ones that are actually used from the AI footage. So it's a big step forward to make a clean plate. It's not good enough clean plate for delivery. So I would never use this in production if this is going to be the final result. What I'm going to do now with the footage is I'm just going to use the information from the street, the poles, the ground, the signs, the camera movement, to build on top of that. And the little ghosting that you see around in the characters and the bike and everything, for the next step, it's fine because we still have the information of the architecture of the street itself. There are no like huge objects in the scenes that are going to force the AI later to come up with some objects that are going to move there in the sci-fi universe. As for now, what I see, it's like the character is clean, the street and camera movement are there. The information for me is there to start painting over with the AI. So that's going to be the next step.